Welcome all to the Dr. Beasley's Clean Room. It is the Director of Success, Chris Racana, here today to talk about the Baggie test. And be sure to stick around to the end of the video so you can hear just how quiet clean paint is and just how loud contaminated paint really can be. So what is it? The Baggie test is used to determine if there are embedded contaminants on the surface. And if present, it is imperative that we mechanically remove those contaminants with either a clay bar or a clay towel treatment before we go to paint correction, or else we're going to end up inducing even more flaws into the paint. Hello, pigtails. So why do we use the Baggie test? Well, first of all, it's to determine how severe the contamination is on the surface. Is it light contamination? Then we're going to need a light clay. Perhaps it's moderate contamination, then we're going to need a medium grade clay. Maybe you got really heavy contamination and you need to go to a heavy clay bar for that kind of treatment. Now, speaking of those treatments, if you want to do a deeper dive onto the clay treatment, we got a video on that and we're going to leave a link on it below. However, after you get through that clay treatment, are you 100% sure that you removed all those contaminations? Now, this is where arguably one could say that the Baggie test is absolutely imperative, is after your clay to determine and confirm whether you indeed have removed all that contamination from the surface after your clay treatment. Because after all, we need to ensure that all that contamination is removed before we go on to the paint correction process. So how does it work? Well, by simply placing our hands in a simple baggie, we turn our fingertips into ultra-sensitive contaminant sensors. So what you may not feel on your bare skin feels like absolute boulders and sandpaper when we're feeling it through this plastic baggie. Now, obviously here on YouTube, it's kind of difficult to have you guys feel the contamination, but we're gonna try a little experiment here. We're gonna go over and get one of our Rode microphones, wrap it in a baggie, and see if you can actually hear the contamination on the surface of this paint. So what we're gonna do here is we got our little portable Rode go-to microphone, and I'm gonna wrap it around this cellophane here, and I want you guys to listen what contaminated paint sounds like and how loud it is. If you like that and you want to hear and see more cool videos like that, why don't you go ahead and do me a favor and go ahead and smash that subscribe button. And while you're smashing, you might as well go ahead and tickle that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video on the Dr. Beasley's YouTube page. Now for some tips for you enthusiast and pro detailers when it comes to the Baggie test. Number one, it is kind of optional if you want a Baggie test before you clay, but it is absolutely imperative that you Baggie test after you clay to confirm that you've done the job well. Number two, when it comes to the Baggie itself, the cheaper the better. Spending on the more expensive, thicker, name brand sealable version isn't helping you guys. The cheaper the cellophane or plastic, the better results you're gonna have when you do the Baggie test. And number three, for your pro detailers out there, this is a phenomenal sales tool. Remember, it's just good old-fashioned customer service to show your customer how you're making their lives better, not just tell them about it. With that, folks, I want to thank you so much for joining us here in the Dr. Beasley's Clean Room and our little discussion on the Baggie test. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. My team at drbeasleys.com is the email address to reach us at. And one last thing, folks, I do want to beg you for a favor. Please help me educate America. If you are out there and you're driving in the left lane and you're not passing anyone, kindly do move over to the right. Want to know why? It's because common courtesy on the road dictates that it is left lane for passing, middle lane for cruising, and the right lane for entering and exiting the expressway. Thank you so much for everybody. Drive safely.